You're in a wing of the hospital dedicated to patients like you. It's not very busy here, and besides, it's the middle of the night, around 2 a.m.
So what have I missed?
For one thing, they don't know who you are.
No?
No, I thought maybe they would piece together the missing driver from the car accident a ways away from here. You've been John Doe for the past weeks. It's...
What?
It's actually interesting.
Oh, how so?
The nurses, one in particular, she comes in to check. She always says, "Good morning, John." And, well, I like the sound of it.
What do you mean? You want to be called John?
It sounds bizarre, I know.
No, I'm glad I can call you something. In the place that I was, when I tried to call out to you, I could only think of friend.
Yes, about that. What do you mean place you were? What happened? What are we waiting for?
Some sort of comfort, I suppose.
Comfort? Arthur, comfort was left on the floor of your office back in Arkham. It's stuffed in the closet with long-forgotten cases, worn, weathered coats, and the body of your partner.
Why did you lie to me? Back then, you said you let me believe that I killed him.
And
you did.
Does the divide really seem that vast anymore? The line between you and I?
You act like this stuff doesn't bother you, but it does. Whatever crisp alien exterior you force yourself to keep, I don't buy it.
No.
No, you wanted to be called John. A month alone with no one but a nurse to visit. You felt something, a tug. Perhaps from a former life, perhaps only a vision of what I once had, but it warmed something within you.
You sound...
And what's more, I feel it. I feel that warmth within you. Deep down. Yes, there is hate. But your anger, it is a human-like petulance, as if a soul first learning to walk. Your violent outbursts, your sulky demeanor, you melt away when caught up in our path. Why do you shy away from it?
Arthur, I don't even...
Right. That's like asking a scorpion why it stings the frog.
It's unearthed something.
What is it?
I don't know. A white, waxy root of some sort. I can't tell in the darkness of the cavern, but it may have leaves on it. Some sort of vegetation, I suppose.
Lovely.
I think it's offering it to you, Arthur. It's waiting expectantly.
Well, thank you, big guy or girl, or... I don't have a name for you. I like you...
Lilly.
Lilly? Where did that come from?
Lilly.
Okay, Lilly. You need to stay here. We can't have you pacing around after us
Its harness looks tight.
Well, these things usually are.
Cutting into her skin.
Cutting in, eh?
Yes.
Back on Earth, people use cows, horses, any number of animals really to do work.
Of course.
I find this place, though, the creatures here, they're not like back on Earth. If there's anything I've learned, it's that most things here deserve to be left to their own devices. Lilly, do you want to go free?
It could put a target on our back.
Any bigger than a prison break?
True.
Although maybe you're right. Maybe it's just the ex-captive in me wanting to share the feeling of liberation with another.
It's your call. I support you.
No one deserves to be a prisoner. Least of all something that didn't do anything wrong.
Thank you, Arthur.
Go on. Goodbye, Lilly.
Perhaps that was what she was hoping for. What are you going to do with that?
With what?
The waxy root in your hand.
Oh, right. I don't suppose we should eat it.
It would be very unwise.
Right. Well, let's just hold on to it for now. It is, after all, our only possession.
The lake isn't far now.
Right. I hope she's...
She's moving on. Back to where we found her.
Okay. So?
So?
Lilly?
Yes. Lilly.
Why? That's the first I've heard you utter the name, let alone have it so readily on your tongue. Surely it means something, but we haven't come across a Lilly to my memory, and we've been together for months now without a moment to part.
That's not entirely true.
What do you mean?
Lilly was the name of a nurse back in Harper's Hill.
A nurse?
Yes. You recall you were in a coma, and I wasn't.
She's the one who called you John Doe?
Yes.
You had a connection with her?
Perhaps. It was a long time alone with my thoughts. She was the only other person I saw.
I never asked, did I?
You didn't need to.
No, but obviously that was a time that changed you. You've mentioned a few times how that time affected you. Lilly.
Lilly.
Why offer it up now?
The name?
Yes, you obviously kept it close.
It felt fitting. No use carrying a name around.
No?
Is there?
I don't know, John. I suppose sometimes carrying a name around with you is important to remember who you are, or what you want to be.
I suppose.
You don't have to lose the name just because you gave it away. Or, more importantly, you don't need to forget the time. Or
We're here.
I think I just missed the normalcy of it all. The streets, the sounds of people talking, going about the day. No one caring who I am or what I'm doing. I just want to be lost in the sea of the everyday. Let it wash over me. What about you?
Me? I don't know.
Just answer.
I honestly don't. The first moment I had to myself, back in the hospital, I found myself angry, frustrated at my inability to talk, to interact with things. My role as the king was about driving others mad, about whispering secrets into their ears and watching them take my words to heart. Sometimes to the point of gouging out their own ear canal.
Jesus.
But in that time, I found none of that.
No, you found your humanity. You found Lilly.
It wasn't just about her, Arthur. She was merely a figurehead, through which I learned the truth. She was the first human I had encountered that I didn't need anything from. The first time I didn't have the desire, let alone the ability to enact my will through her. Instead, I found myself depending on her. Depending on her warmth and compassion, her routines and schedule. I began to hope that she would come back. And in that hope came the simple realization that I was, for the first time since my inception, alone. And it frightened me. The dark world is a nightmarish, cruel plane, one that haunts my waking thoughts, but it is not empty. Far from it.
She made you want for more out of your existence. That's no small feat.
So what is the first thing I want to do when I get back home?
Yes.
Well, if I'm being honest,
What is that?
I don't know. It sounds like an animal.
It sounds hurt.
Leave it. I'm sure it's just one of Mr. Kane's toys.
It sounds like it's still alive, though.
Arthur. Arthur! Stay here and sit the fuck down. I am not going to die because you threw a fucking tantrum.
Lilly. Tell me. How could you forget Lilly? She was the reason, John. She was the reason you cared. She changed you. How could you forget her?
I don't know what you want me to say.
Say you remember!
I don't. Now listen to me. I have your fucking eyes. So you're going to do exactly what I say. You separated me from my body, and you are going to put me back. I am the King in Yellow, and I will tear your soul apart if I have to.
You're not going to do shit, you fucking asshole.
Play something that comes to mind, anything.
You also told me you'd never forget me. I'm having a tough time with all of this right now. I really need to just breathe. I don't know who I am. I don't know where I am. I don't recognize this.
You're a tender soul, friend. I shouldn't have put such a fire beneath you. Now head over to that piano for me. Just put your fingers on the keys. Play something that comes to mind. Anything.
You've been awake this entire time?
Yes. She comes in to check. She always says, "Good morning, John." And, well, I like the sound of it. It sounds bizarre, I know.
No, I'm glad I can call you something.
I've been so focused on never returning, I haven't actually thought of how lucky. Arthur.
Yeah.
What the hell has happened to you?
What? What do you mean?
You look run ragged.
Why, thank you.
No, I mean to say...
I know what you mean. The voice in my head. Yellow. He wasn't like you. He didn't want the same things you want. I think. I think you want them. Do you?
Do I what?
You want to be human, right? You...
What?
Never mind. He was convinced that he deserved to be a god. That I should bow down to him. It was fucking awful, John. It was you, without all the humanity that Lilly gave you, that our time together granted you. Without the knowledge of my daughter. You do remember her, right?
I'm not gonna say her name.
Say it.
I promised, Arthur.
It's okay.
Thoreau.
She brought you back, John. The same way she did me. She saved us.
What do you mean?
Her song, it was what made you remember. It's what saved us. It's what saved you from wherever you were.
I owe her a lot, then.
We both do.
So, where is the king, then?
Fine, I'm sorry. I realize that you and he are the same. You want me to remind you of that?
I want you to stop making it seem like I'm entirely different.
You are entirely different.
I am aware. That's it.
What?
I am aware of what this world means to people. The ones who inhabit it. What you, and everyone else lucky enough to have what you did, feel every day.
Every day.
What you had, Arthur. You've lost a lot, but you had everything. You have experienced the best of what life has to offer.
And the worst.
Jesus, yes, and the worst. You had the run of it all.
So what? What are you talking about?
He wasn't aware.
And?
And? That's the only difference.
Bullshit.
How? What is fundamentally different about me?
I don't know.
You don't know because there is nothing fundamentally different. I was just made aware.
By Lilly, by your time in the hospital.
By you.
By me.
By everything you showed me. Yes, my time while you were in a coma made it all click. But none of it would have without you.
Well, and what? So what? You're saying that the reason Yellow wasn't aware was my fault?
I'm just saying... I'm saying that I had an advantage that he didn't.
Oh, fuck off. I gave him all the advantages I gave you.
Did you?
Of course I did. Well, what is this?
Listen. Yes, at first this antagonistic creature drove me mad to no end. But something happened during this time, during my time with humans, and I began to feel remorse, regret. I connected with him. That alone wasn't enough to make me question who I am. But then I was shown compassion. Love, even, by a nurse. A woman who cared for me. And I became attracted to the notion of humanity.
This woman cared for you.
Yes.
Lies. She cared for your mortal.
Yes, but she spoke to me.
She spoke to the man you were trapped within. You gained humanity as a prisoner.
No, it wasn't like that.
You did not escape. You have become complacent.
He couldn't hear her. I was the one who received her care, her kindness.
Intended for another.
What does that matter? She knew no difference between me or him. She knew nothing of the soul that hurt her. Whether it was the same care, the same compassion.
And so...
And so I felt a change in me. Perhaps because of the bond with this human. Perhaps because I was simply done with the prospect of having no real desire. And so I began to attempt humanity.